Please rise. Today, the national anthem will be sung by Nathan Villamor, a graduate of the Orange County High School for the Performing Arts. Nathan is now a freshman majoring in music education here at Cal Poly Pomona. So, gentlemen, please remove your caps. Nathan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Nathan Villamor. Members of the class of 2014, family, friends, and members of the ENV community, it is my high honor to welcome you to the Father's Day edition of the College of Environmental Design Commencement Exercises for the class of 2014. We extend special greetings to President Ortiz and Mrs. Ortiz on their last official visit to an ENV commencement. President Ortiz, thank you so much for all your years of being such a great friend to the College of Environmental Design. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit down. On the occasion of the university's 75th anniversary, I'd like to point out one of the main differences between Cal Poly Pomona and our sister polytechnic institution up on the Central Coast. We are the urban polytechnic. As the urban polytechnic university, we take pride in drawing from the exceptionally robust ethnic and social diversity of Southern California and fulfilling the CSU system's historical mandate to provide a ladder of upward mobility to future generations. ENV is particularly proud of our central location in a great metropolitan region at the juncture of Los Angeles and Orange counties and the Inland Empire to create opportunities for our students to immerse themselves in the surrounding communities, learn about the issues, conduct research, design solutions for real-life problems, and find internships and jobs. ENV may not be the largest college at Cal Poly Pomona, but our college is very proud of its special role and its special identity within the university. We are the creative college. What does it mean to be the creative college? We have ideas. We have dreams. Some of us make packaging for products or graphic images for mobile apps. Some of us make landscapes for sustainability. Some of us make structures for habitation. Some of us design cities for social equity or economic empowerment. Whichever department is our home, we make things. We do things. In the ENV version of learning by doing, we teach and we learn how to take our ideas and turn them into reality. We take our dreams and learn how to talk about them, how to write about them, how to draw them, how to make them understandable and convincing so that our dreams can have an impact on real life. That's what it means to get your education in the Creative College. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the distinguished members of the Platform Party. And I ask that you hold your applause until I read all of the names, but please hold your applause and I'll let you know when is the right time. First, the Vice President for Administrative Affairs, Dr. Stephen Garcia. The Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Douglas Freer. Our Mace Bearer, Dr. Allison Perlman. The Vice President for University Advancement, Michelle Stoddard. Our Chief Information Officer for Instructional and Information Technology, Mr. John McGuthrie. Our valedictorian and outstanding McPhee awardee, Sarah Lafia. Our Interim Associate Dean, Dr. Juliana Delgado. The Senior Class Representative, Yan Ong. Our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Martin Denboer. And our President of Cal Poly Pomona, Dr. J. Michael Ortiz. Thank you all very much. A round, please, for our Platform Party. Thank you. And please be seated. Now, I'd like to introduce some special guests who are here with us today. Sitting right up here in the front row, the wife of President Ortiz and Cal Poly Pomona's First Lady, Mrs. Betty Ortiz. Also with Mrs. Ortiz is Ms. Sandra Davis, the newly retired executive assistant in the President's office. And also sitting right next to Mrs. Ortiz is another native of North Carolina, another Tar Heel, my wife, Lori Dowling. Thank you all for joining our celebration today. Now, I'd like to call upon President Ortiz to give us his welcome and his introductory remarks. President Ortiz.
Thank you, Dean Wu. Commencement. It's the moment our graduates and their families have worked toward for years. I earned my bachelor's degree 40 some odd years ago, and I remember that moment like it was yesterday. Put down your phones and programs and take it in. You did it. Your college experience does not end today. The lessons you've learned, the friends you've made, and the challenges you've overcome will carry you throughout your lifetime. Stay connected, stay informed, and stay involved. You can do this in a number of ways. You can be a teacher for the day. You can serve on boards and advisory boards here at the university. You can join the Alumni Association. You can do a number of things to stay in touch with Cal Poly Pomona. As Dean Wu said, I am retiring in December, but I will tell you that that makes us all class of 2014. One other thing about being class of 2014 is that we are the diamond individuals of that class because this is our 75th anniversary, our diamond anniversary. So congratulations, your diamonds are in the mail. Through the years, I've learned that you can never reach a new high point in your life alone. For me, I've relied on my wife, Betty, to be a partner and friend through all the highs and lows. At Cal Poly Pomona, I have relied on the expertise of countless people that include the great faculty and staff on this campus and people like Sandy Davis, our newly retired executive assistant, who has worked with 4 of the 5 presidents at Cal Poly Pomona. Commencement is made possible because of people like Teresa Navarro-Rodriguez and Diane Carter and their dedicated team who put this event together. So I think they deserve a well-rounded applause. Now I want you to think back to your experience. You did not arrive at this point by accident. Through dedication and hard work, you have reached this pinnacle. But remember, no one has ever completed this journey alone. Many people, including professors and loved ones, have traveled with you and helped you along the way. How did they guide you, support you, encourage you? Graduates, please join me in recognizing the special people in your life by standing and giving them a well-deserved round of applause. Class of 2014, as you move on to graduate school or the workforce, head out with confidence. Cal Poly Pomona graduates have an edge. Your classroom experiences actually involve solving real-world problems. You have studied under experienced faculty and you've been immersed in one of the most diverse campuses in the nation. You don't just understand diversity, you've lived it. Now that the investment you made in your education will pay off many times over, the 2014 College Return on Investment Report says that Cal Poly Pomona ranks 74th out of 1,300 colleges and universities. That puts us in the top 6% of the country. We are a regional powerhouse. Payscale.com found our return on investment stronger than some of the other local universities like USC and UCLA. In fact, we placed better than all of the UC campuses with the exception of Berkeley and San Diego. But you didn't pay UC tuition, did you? And of course, you didn't pay the high cost of attending a private college or university either. Did you know that you didn't pay the full cost of your education? California taxpayers and university donors supported your education. At the end of this month, we will close the campaign for Cal Poly Pomona. Donors have given more than $150 million in gifts, pledges, and bequests to keep our university at the cutting edge. Do you know why they would give us so much at Cal Poly Pomona? It's because of you. They believe in your potential to succeed in the workforce and contribute to the greater good. Years from now, there will come a time in your life when you'll look back on your career and marvel at your good fortune. Remember those who invested in you and consider paying it forward so that you can pave the way for future generations. Today is your day. You have completed one of the most important journeys of your lifetime. As you consider your next steps, I urge you to head out with confidence. Seize the opportunities before you because you have never been more ready. Congratulations, class of 2014.
Thank you, thank you, President Ortiz. Now, I'd like to introduce the senior class representative from the College of Environmental Design, Yan Ong, who will present the senior class gift to President Ortiz.
President Ortiz, Dean Wu, member of the stage party, distinguished guests, and the fellow member of the class of 2014, every year the graduating class leaves behind something for the campus community. It's about leaving the university better than it was when we first got here. This tradition succeeds every year because of another long-standing tradition at CPP, philanthropy. The senior class gift is entirely funded by donations by graduating seniors. This is truly a gift from us to future students. Our gift will be to purchase and install electronic charging stations throughout campus study and gathering places. These stations will charge cell phones, tablets, e-readers, and even laptops. President Ortiz, I am honored to present this gift to you from the class of 2014. And happy Father's Day.
11 years ago, when I first came to Cal Poly Pomona, I never believed that we would be recognizing a gift for more power, for more electrical devices. Look at the great future you have in front of you. Things have transformed in that period of time. This is going to be a gift that I know the future students at Cal Poly Pomona will certainly take advantage of and will recognize you for having donated it to the university. Thank you, class of 2014.
You can tell that this is a very happy day for Yan Ong by the color of his socks. Have you noticed the color of Yan? your socks. You can tell this is a very happy day for Yan Ong. Thank you for your gift, Yan. We should all wear more colorful socks. Okay. At this time, I have the privilege of presenting the Julian A. McPhee Honor Award for Student Excellence, an award the university has given each year since 2002. Julian McPhee was the founding president of both Cal Poly Pomona and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He provided more than 35 years of dedicated service to the citizens of California. Because of his visionary leadership and astute negotiating skills, Californians can point with pride to two of the nation's finest universities, founded on the educational principle embodied in the motto, "Learn by doing." This special award was generously funded by an anonymous donor who was a colleague of Julian McPhee and honors a current graduating senior who exhibits excellence in his or her academic endeavors. It is now my pleasure to present the Julian A. McPhee Award to the outstanding scholar from the College of Environmental Design. This year's honoree is Sarah Lafia, a student from the Department of Urban and Regional Planning. Sarah, please come join me at the lectern. Sarah is receiving an undergraduate degrees in both urban and regional planning and geography. She excelled in each program, demonstrating graduate-level skills and participating in the Kellogg Honors College. Her senior project research introduced social justice considerations into geographic information systems, or GIS-based hazard assessment analysis using flood events in Los Angeles County as the test case. This research was featured in the Cal Poly Pomona Student Research Conference and was one of 3 winners in the Western Region Honors Competition held in Denver, Colorado. She has received the California Planners Foundation Graduating Student Award and will be attending a master's and PhD program in geography at the University of California, Santa Barbara next year. President Ortiz, would you please come join me at the podium? Let's see. And there's a medallion here.
It's in the box.
Uh-huh.
It's all right, Michael. Sarah, come over for me, if you would. I want to make sure
Thank you, Sarah Lafia. Each year at commencement, I have the privilege of recognizing individuals from the college community who have excelled during their academic careers. An award is given to a graduating senior from each department who is recognized for excellence in academic performance, talent and accomplishments in the environmental design disciplines, and contributions to the life of the department and the college. All of them have distinguished themselves as members of our environmental design community. As I read the name of each recipient, I ask that you hold your applause until they all have joined me here on the stage. I'd like to ask the following students to step forward. From architecture, Noam Saragasti. Please, hold your applause, okay? From art, Sanari Lai. From landscape architecture, Hugh Nguyen. From the Lyle Center for Regenerative Studies, Don Serio. And from the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, Marianne Cronin. From the Department of Architecture, we are honoring Noam Saragasti. Noam Saragasti has distinguished himself as an undergraduate student of remarkable talent, intelligence, and commitment. Noam has excelled in every class he has taken while at Cal Poly Pomona, from design studios to technical courses to architectural history lectures. He has been selected to represent Cal Poly Pomona at prestigious events, including the 2x8 exhibit at the A&D Museum in Los Angeles, at the Dwell on Design exhibit, and at the Gensler Architectural Design Charrette, where his team was awarded honorable mention. He has been the recipient of several scholarships, including the L.T. Shanks Travel Scholarship, which enabled him to visit Neolithic ruins and landscape structures on the Orkney Islands. The Department of Architecture faculty congratulates Noam on his overall outstanding academic performance. Given his exceptional record of accomplishments, the architecture faculty is certain that they will continue to see his name in print in the World Architectural Press. Noam Sargasti. Noam, congratulations. Thank you. From the art department, we are honoring Sonari Lai. Sonari Lai is an exceptional student receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Art History. She has excelled in all of her classes as demonstrated by her 3.9 GPA and had an extremely positive educational experience at Cal Poly Pomona by minoring in history and French and participating in a study abroad program in Paris. A smart and dedicated student with a true passion for learning and always aiming for perfection, Sonari impressed the art history faculty with her extraordinary work. Her research papers, especially her work on the Chinese artist Ai Weiwei and the Korean artist Do Ho Soo, were thoroughly researched, conceptually sophisticated, and were highlighted by unexpected, clever twists. Interested in seeing the world, Sonari applied to the English program in Korea. Since April, she has been in the city of Incheon teaching English, which means she isn't here today. But nevertheless, the Department of Art faculty congratulates Sonari for her outstanding academic performance and has high expectations for her future career as an art historian. Because she's in Korea today, we will not give her this plaque, but we'll make sure she gets it. Next, from the Department of Landscape Architecture, we're honoring Hugh Nguyen. With an interdisciplinary background in architecture and landscape architecture, Hugh Nguyen is an excellent landscape designer full of creative ideas and sophisticated technical skills. His design received runner-up in the EPA Campus Rainworks Challenge 2012. He not only excels in the classroom setting with a very high GPA, but is also an excellent team leader and popular group member as voted by his peers. Hugh will become a professional landscape architect who will contribute to a promising future for the profession. This goes to Hugh Nguyen. Hugh, congratulations. Thank you. From the Lyle Center for Regenerative Studies, we honor graduate student Don Serio. The interdisciplinary faculty at the Lyle Center for Regenerative Studies is pleased to recommend Mr. Don Serio for the Dean's Outstanding Student Award. Since his enrollment in the Master of Science program, Don has demonstrated academic excellence in his coursework, as well as making substantial contributions to the life of the Lyle Center. In his thesis, Don has contributed to the understanding of methods for quantifying systems in terms of both regeneration and degeneration, so as to effectively measure their environmental benefit or impact. He has also donated substantial time and resources related to energy systems and energy education at the center. The faculty, staff, and students of the Lyle Center congratulate Don on this award and thank him for his contribution to the Lyle Center community. Don Serio. Don, congratulations. Thank you very much. From the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, we're honoring Mary Ann Cronin. Mary Ann Cronin is the Dean's Outstanding Student in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning. Her GPA of 3.96 is the highest of all students in the department. She is a self-starter who demonstrates initiative in every class she takes. Mary Ann is an effective public speaker and a brilliant writer. As a researcher, she is adept at both qualitative and quantitative methods. Her content analysis of state-mandated sustainability community strategies assessed the first round of these regional plans and offered solid suggestions for improvement. Above all, Mary Ann is a kind and generous person who is appreciated by the faculty and her peers and who will excel in planning practice. Please join me in honoring Mary Ann Cronin. Mary Ann, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Honorees, we are proud of your accomplishments. Please take your seats. Now, it's time for the 2014 Dean's Award for Outstanding Faculty. I'd like to ask Professor Kip Dixon to step forward to accept this award. I'm not sure you can tell, this is a surprise. Professor Kip Dixon is a talented architect, generous colleague, and inspiring teacher. A graduate of Cal Poly Pomona who went on to receive a master's degree in architecture from Harvard, Kip came back to Cal Poly Pomona over 28 years ago to join the faculty. During these many years, Kip has taught at all levels of the curriculum, from coordinating first-year design studios to overseeing thesis projects. He also has been a tireless advocate for the department, serving on all kinds of committees at the college and university level. He has helped guide the program, acting as co-chair of the department for 2 years when Bill Adams was the chair, also serving as the graduate coordinator for the Master of Architecture program for the last 10 years, and serving as graduate coordinator for the Master of Interior Architecture program since it was founded in 2010. Kip is the internship coordinator for the Department of Architecture, which is a very smart choice, given the fact that he has served as an architectural registration examination, or ARE, commissioner for the California Architects Board, and because he has 35 years of professional experience in practice. In view of Kip's staggering workload in the Department of Architecture, it is no surprise that Kip tries to maximize his leisure time as skipper of his own boat. Therefore, the faculty is honored to have such an experienced skipper navigating the rough seas of higher education. Please join us in honoring Professor Kip Dixon. Now, I call upon Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Martin Den Boer, to present the candidates for the master's degree. Provost Den Boer.
Thank you, Dean Wu. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Architecture, Master of Interior Architecture, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Science in Regenerative Studies, and Master of Urban and Regional Planning please rise? President Ortiz, I present to you the 2014 graduates for the Master of Architecture, Master of Interior Architecture, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Science in Regenerative Studies, and Master of Urban and Regional Planning. These candidates have completed the requirements for the master's degree as prescribed by the State of California and the trustees of the California State University, and they have been recommended by the faculty of California State Polytechnic University, Pomona.
Candidates for the master's degree. You have heard the recommendation of the faculty of California State Polytechnic University, Pomona. By the authority vested in me as president, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Architecture, Master of Interior Architecture, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Science in Regenerative Studies, and Master of Urban and Regional Planning with all the rights, honors, and opportunities appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Please be seated.
As we proceed through the March of the Graduates, each graduate will have a photo taken by the professional photographers, and each graduate who turns in a photographer's card at the reader table will receive a proof. Ushers, please take your positions to help direct the candidates. Will the candidates for the master's degree please rise? Each candidate should approach the stage as directed by the ushers with your hood folded over your left arm, stop at the reader table, proceed to the platform to receive your diploma cover and be hooded, and then recess down the center ramp and back to your seat again as directed by the ushers.
We now will begin the hooding of the Master of Architecture graduates. Will the architecture faculty who will be doing the hooding please come to the stage, and will the remaining architecture faculty please form a line at the bottom of the ramp to greet the new graduates.
Megan Marie Turner.
Lena Chan.
Elizabeth Marine Vento.
Patrick Stanley Kornman.
Sarah Nemo.
Mark Adel Adel Sayed.
Jane E. Schmidlap.
Kenneth Wong.
Tiffany L. Davis.
And that completes the awarding of the degree for Masters in Architecture. We will now begin the awarding of the degree of Masters of Interior Architecture.
At Shan Ali Mohammadi.
Patricia Fontes.
Jacqueline Papazian.
Tiffany Liang.
Veronica Michelle Monger.
Kelly Marie Peterson.
Hussam Sheikh Osman.
Alexis Catherine Melnicki.
Kelsey Madsen.
Mia Aiko Yamada.
Megan Frances Cardo.
Denise Dania Pan.
Jessica Nicole Lindkrantz.
Lyra Annette Howenstein.
Joel Daniel Schaefer, Jr.
Orly Hakimi.
Trevor Michael Cochran.
Madison Nicole Miller.
Mariam Mofid.
Allison Williams.
Jaeon Chung.
And
Shua Lin.
And that completes the awarding the degree Masters of Interior Architecture. We will now begin the awarding the degree Masters Landscape Architecture. Hugh Trong Nguyen. Joseph Anthony Gonzalez. Gregory Dale Dalton. Tyler Nicholas Pristine. Elena Rosa Tucci. Kevin Jikai Yuan. Edna A. Robidas. Carlos A. Flores. Katie Lauren Russell. And that completes the awarding the degree Masters in Landscape Architecture. We will now begin the awarding degree for Masters in Regenerative Studies. James Carroll Bellis. Nicholas Jacob Rivas. Ben Sungjin Yoon. Donald Lewis Serio Jr. And that completes the awarding the degree Masters in Regenerative Studies. We will now begin the awarding the degree Masters in Urban and Regional Planning.
Brian Jonathan Lamb.
Monica Therese Esparza.
Nara Nizari.
Daniel Alberto Rojas.
David Castro.
Edson Adrian Ibanez.
Emily Ann Elliott.
Jamie Ingbert.
Domenica Karina Megardician.
Chi Yon Lim.
Ashley Linton Brodkin.
Jasmine Fukase.
Marianne Rachel Cronin.
Adrena Melkonian. And that completes the awarding the degree Masters in Urban and Regional Planning.
We have completed the hooding of this year's graduates of the master's degree programs. Let's congratulate them.
Will the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Architecture, Bachelor of Art, Bachelor of Fine Art in Graphic Design, Bachelor of Science in Landscape Architecture, and Bachelor of Urban and Regional Planning, please rise. President Ortiz, I present to you the 2014 candidates for the baccalaureate degree from the College of Environmental Design. These candidates have completed the requirements for the baccalaureate degree as prescribed by the state of California and the trustees of the California State University, and they have been recommended for their degrees by the faculty of California State Polytechnic University, Pomona.
Candidates for the baccalaureate degree. You have heard the recommendation of the faculty of California State Polytechnic University, Pomona. By the authority vested in me as president, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Architecture, Bachelor of Art, Bachelor of Fine Art and Graphic Design, Bachelor of Science in Landscape Architecture, Bachelor of Urban and Regional Planning, with all the rights, honors, and opportunities appertaining thereto. Congratulations. In academic tradition, the student who has not yet earned a degree wears the tassel on the mortarboard on the right side. When the degree is conferred, the scholar moves the tassel to the left and joins a select company. In recognition of your new status, will all recipients of the baccalaureate degree move the tassel to the left?
To the class of 2014, I commend you for your effort and accomplishments. Please be seated until you are directed to the stage to receive your diploma cover.
We will now begin the awarding of the degree Bachelors of Architecture.
Anushri Vachani.
Eric Sang.
Nagin Irani.
Ken Chan Lee.
Brianna Lynn Wiley.
Robert Harrington Urbe III.
Garrett Christian Sana.
Rogelio Mercado.
Brandon Richard Featherstone.
Will Conlon Cromschreider, cum laude.
Bo Dustin Sizemore.
Juan Rodrigo Salazar.
Brandon Henry Cruz.
Christopher Norton Riley.
Yen Ong, cum laude.
Noam Sargosti, cum laude.
Phuc Tran.
Juhi Park.
William Charles Milheiser.
Christina Lynn Johnson, magna cum laude.
Tamra Aslan.
Devin Michelle Miyasaki.
Ariane Ponce, summa cum laude.
Haley Annette Weitzman, cum laude.
Ana Victoria de la Torre.
Richard Anthony Sanchez.
Benjamin Juan Moreno Gallardo.
Andrew Gunn Ree.
Lance Nolan Higgins.
Carolyn Casey Bickle.
Daniel Enrique Flores, cum laude.
Armito Laura Calatari, magna cum laude.
Jeffrey Douglas Farron.
Levi Miniman, cum laude.
Barbara Gabriela Gonzalez.
Gloria Hu Yan Ma.
Andrew Brian Cartwright.
Helen Hei Bing Kang, cum laude.
Samuel Allen Bent, cum laude.
Ariane Labrilla.
Nathan Spencer Burgett.
Mina Sa.
Manuel Fernandez.
Jennifer Marie Chapman, summa cum laude.
Joseph de Santiago, cum laude.
Michelle Lee, summa cum laude.
Michael Lee.
Christine Maria Ait, cum laude.
Malcolm Clayton William Edwards.
Ashley Marie Amanparo, cum laude.
John Raymond Justin McKelly.
Gabriela Uvidia.
Jose Rafael Garcia.
Itzel Ortega Alamans.
Brent J. Hallam.
Anna Karen Muro.
Gianni Zata, summa cum laude.
Keith Nathan Bogero, magna cum laude.
Sean Michael Fuller, cum laude.
Edward Campbell Jr., cum laude.
Cynthia Garcia.
Veronica Hernandez.
Thomas Concialdi.
Ma Hasmina Abad Molano. Brittany Nicole Kindig. Gwen Win Tu. And that completes the awarding the degree Bachelors of Architecture. We will now begin the awarding the degree for Bachelors of Art, Bachelor of Fine Art in Graphic Design.
Camille O. Elston. Cynthia Kate Velasquez. Jessica Maureen Thibodeau.
Nolan James Antonio, summa cum laude.
Min Du.
Jonathan Vincent Kasakin.
Celia Ann Lopez.
Robert Homar Danke Regan.
Aileen Partida.
Mark Morella.
Isa Silva.
Alvin Robles Galet.
Daniel E. Gonzalez.
Stephanie Aliana Ki Hao, magna cum laude.
Noe Alberto Garcia.
Cindy Tang.
Nicole Marie Duran.
Tam V. Ann.
Stacy Chang.
Miyuki Haraga.
Joy Lynn Harding.
Bianca Elena Vargas.
Monique Gabrielle Chaidez.
Ryan Rodriguez.
Dorothy La Rosa.
Anthony Michael Rojas.
Roderick Alcantara Suarez.
June Wu.
Brian B. Quintanar.
Ricky Shuwa Lam.
Tiffany Dim Voli.
Chi Chen Lang.
Michelangelo Reyes.
Wen Ling Chen.
Scott Lyndon Case.
Chao Wen Chen.
Brianna Williams Sanchez.
Christopher Paul Colt.
Catherine Van Dang.
Julio C. Ramon.
Karen Ruchira Daniel.
Rigoberto Serrano.
Tony De Jesus Rico.
Nancy Gretel Graziazo.
Vincent Robert Frontino.
Javier Diaz.
Yoel Jonathan.
Melanie Noel Brown, magna cum laude.
John Kwok Don, cum laude.
Judy H. Lee.
William G. Herrera.
Mina Vong.
James Peter John Olvera.
Nicole Harada.
Jessica Ashley Leonard.
Christopher Michael Ariano.
Louise Lee, summa cum laude, Kellogg Honors.
Andrea Elizabeth Garcia, cum laude.
Alexander Jarrett Horton.
Alexander Jacob Mattingly.
Francisco Antonio Estupinian.
Timothy Allen Newman.
Kyle Ricardo Manoya.
Chris Myers.
Michelle Comer, magna cum laude.
Nick Ryan Christensen.
June O.
Ryan Scott Evans.
Randall Lugo.
Esteban Guzman, cum laude.
Adeline Beatriz Funes.
Corey McClellan.
Karina Elizabeth Hernandez.
Taylor Ann Kreitziger, cum laude.
Jason Lin.
Diana Michelle Lake, cum laude.
Fariha Al-Hassan.
Nicole Lauren Golombeski.
Noha Dandachi, Kellogg Honors.
Julian Brendan Ariano.
Christina Lynn Magoyan.
Diego Arturo Cardenas.
Desiree Marie Holloway.
Jessica Catherine Garcia. And that concludes the awarding the degree Bachelor of Art, Bachelor of Fine Art, and Graphic Design.
Gracias.
We will now begin the awarding the degree Bachelors of Science in Landscape Architecture.
Alejandro Castellon.
Michael Andy Ayala.
Jesse Hirakawa.
Nicholas Aceves.
Tyler Alexander Joyce.
Ralph Wong.
Andrew Luong Fan.
Brett Matthew Winiger.
Jerry Zuniga.
Eric Tran.
Kuk Ho Kim.
Shane Torrea.
Bradley Michael Dugan, cum laude.
Kristen Winslow Fritz, summa cum laude.
Lindsay Darlene Hagelberg, magna cum laude.
Catherine Reyes.
Armando Silva.
Ernesto Perez.
Jimmy Ta.
Emmanuel Luis Lopez.
Anthony Vasquez Perez.
Amanda Sekie Rogers.
Rosa Isela Soria.
Evelina Cardenas.
Alejandro Palacios, summa cum laude.
Maikenfem Pham.
Daniel Macias.
Melissa Allison Palamo.
Cesar Antonio Torres.
Denise Emily Juliano Munoz, magna cum laude, President Council Scholar.
Ramil Almodovar Mucho.
Sarah Abed.
Ernest Wesley Little.
Anais Placido, cum laude, Kellogg Honors Scholar.
Diego Armando Lopez, cum laude.
Andrew Martinez.
Sidant Balingue. Roy Guillen.
And that concludes the awarding the degree Bachelor of Science in Landscape Architecture. We will now begin the awarding the degree Bachelors of Science in Urban and Regional Planning.
Jessica Tatiana Anaya.
Joel Raffle.
Norma Flores.
Jason Lawrence Carrevio Jr.
Amanda Briones. Esther Andrea Amaya, magna cum laude, Kellogg Honors.
John Luke Felix.
Wendy Erin Laurie, magna cum laude.
Jimmy Z. San Wong, cum laude.
Eve Lois Sanford, Kellogg Honors.
Alex Lee.
Sarah Catherine Lafia, summa cum laude, President's Council Scholar, Kellogg Honors.
Bryson Lamar Green.
Ara Kurolian.
Benjamin Stewart.
Josephine Ying Ching.
Michael Ornelas.
Nathan Patrick Castillo.
Mario Ariano.
Armando Montes Jr.
Colin Scott Wahab, magna cum laude.
Tiffany Ming Yi Chan.
Martin Bloss.
Maichi Michelle Yang.
Angelica Truong.
Christina Graciano.
Christine Verzosa de los Trinos.
Mary Lou Villasana. Jesse Ramos. Linda Vanessa Lara.
And that completes the awarding the degree for Bachelors of Science in Urban and Regional Planning.
Now, will the entire class of 2014 please rise? Audience, please join me in congratulating the College of Environmental Design class of 2014. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings the Father's Day edition of the E&V Commencement Ceremony to a close. Congratulations to the members of the class of 2014. We ask that members of the audience remain seated during the recessional. At the conclusion of the faculty recessional, our 2014 commencement will be officially and formally concluded. Thank you very much for joining us today.